Hey trackies, welcome back to another video here on TXT Track Time. Please remember to like the video and also subscribe. If you're not subscribed, why? We are secret besties. You like me. You're always here. Subscribe. Yes, trackies, I know I can be crazy sometimes, but yeah. Oh, and this is one of those videos that I'll be crazy. But before I get to that, please also head on over to our Instagram page and give us a follow there as well. And as well, one follower at a time. We're definitely growing and I appreciate it because one cocoa will fill the basket eventually. So definitely thank you. All right, so trackies, as I said, this is one of those videos that I'm about to go in on. So yeah, be prepared. Now for y'all who are saying I'm naive and those that are saying that I'm so emotional, child, I'm not a robot. So yeah, I'm definitely emotional, right? So I pointed out to y'all that you know what? Traditional media seems to have this agenda, and at this point, it's looking like an agenda to push this negative narrative when it has anything to do with Elaine Thompson Hira and her team trackies. And you know what? I am slowly and surely becoming 100% convinced that this is indeed the case. Now, trackies, if y'all don't know, the story has no been deaded. So it's now, well, I'm hoping it has come to an end. I pray to God that Shaniki Osborne does not come out and say anything else because at this point it is pointless. Why? Because the receipts are receipting trackies. Ricardo Chambers, in the conclusion of this series, this entire saga that has been going on, trackies, he confirmed that he has received the receipts from Darren Hira and he has confirmed that everything he said is indeed factual as it relates to the amount that was requested by Shaniki Osborne being exorbitant, and of course, the reason why they did not want to give her 15% because of the conditions of Elaine Thompson Hira's contract.
Investigating this story, one of the things I ensured was that whatever was going to be said in that interview yesterday, there was evidence to support. I say that to say that I can speak confidently that what was said as it relates to how the negotiations unfolded was factual. Heard a $40,000 figure bandied about as to what was offered. I understand that was an initial offer which was rejected by Shaniki Osborne, and that's when the request came to provide a number that would be satisfactory for you to coach Elaine Thompson Hira. And it was having requested that figure that the numbers that Darren Hira spoke to us about yesterday, close to $1 million US dollars.
Everything was outlined. They spoke with multiple sources, agents and of course coaches, and they have confirmed that listen, one, that 100 million was way too much money, and two, she should not have been requesting 15% of Elaine Thompson Hira's contract given the circumstances.
I have spoken to a number of industry experts, and I'm talking about now mostly agents who help to negotiate or who negotiate many of these contracts. And what I am told is that if an athlete is with a coach and when that contract is being negotiated with that specific coach in mind, because it is the work of that coach that has brought the athlete to this stage, then usually you can ask for a percentage, and that may be 10%, that may be 15%. However, in instances where an athlete goes to a coach with an existing contract, what is usually the case is that there is a base salary and then the coach also gets a percentage of the bonuses. So so you have that base salary, and that is what you negotiate, which is, as far as my understanding, is what the attempt was to get done in this situation, to negotiate a base salary. From what I understand, the Hira camp was willing to pay up to about 20% on the bonuses. So The issue was really with the
So, Trakis, with that said, I'm praying to God that Shaniki Osborne does not come out and say anything else because at this point, why? Like, really, why? You know what I mean? She should have just kept it pushing and, it is what it is. You know what I mean? But alas, that's not how the story ended. And no, both sides, it looks like it's going to be irreparable. But, going back to my earlier point, Trakis, as it relates to clearly, in my opinion, traditional media having an agenda because clearly, based on how these events transpired, right? I don't see any accountability being taken by any of the parties involved in terms of the information that was disseminated to the public in terms of what exactly transpired. On one hand, we have Oral Tracy doing a follow up video talking about the 100 million, but just focusing on the fact that, it's interesting if it is indeed true that Elaine Thompson here, contract supposedly, that 100 million could be 15%, how much could she be possibly making? And not focusing on the fact that, excuse me, you disseminated wrong information. Point that out and clear that up. Oh, so we can't clear it up. Why? Because it's Elaine Thompson here. Oh, but also, track is it doesn't end with Oral Tracy. Because apparently Laton Ley, the one that did the interview with Shaniki Osborne, also, is over there on Sportsmax making additional excuses. Track is, I'm going to get into it. So, of course, post the interview done with Darren Hira, and the interview was recorded yesterday, and of course, it was posted today. And by the time you all get this video, I think it's going to be the other day, but anyway, you get what I'm saying, right? So, with that said, track is Lane Levy was invited to the panel, and of course, he was asked a series of questions because clearly he was the one that interviewed Shaniki Osborne. Now, after beating around the bush for a gazillion years and finding every excuse under the sun, Ricardo was like, listen, get to the point. We really need to talk about this and straight shoot, be a straight shooter and say how it is, right? No, he said that he believes that Shaniki Osborne was reacting to the press release done by Elaine Thompson Hira's team. Yes, that is what he said. She was reacting to it. Now, why is he saying that? He's saying that he believes that the information put in the press release as it relates to the amount being exorbitant should have been left out. And as such, he believes that Shaniki Osborne, being human, reacted to that portion of the press release.
I want to go back a little bit further than that. The initial statement that came out from Elaine's management,
yes.
I think a lot of what has gone on has been through what I'd call, I don't know, a breakdown in communication. First of all, the statement from Andis Sports Management says that there's been a separation between coach and athlete. I think what should have come next was, we want to thank Ms. Osborne for her contribution to Elaine's improvement last year, but we've been unable to come to an agreement over compensation. We wish her the best going forward. I don't think there was a need to say she was asking for X and the numbers were unreasonable. I think that part of it should have remained confidential, because that is what I think triggered everything going forward. Because then when you accuse or make an assertion that someone wanted compensation that was unwarranted, then you're going to get a reaction. And so Shaniki reacted.
And I said, that's interesting. So she reacted to the portion of the press release that spoke about the sum being exorbitant. And that made her do an interview and tell a lie saying that one, the sum wasn't exorbitant. Okay, then. But anyway, track is, before I even get into that interview, right? So he's claiming again that she was reacting to Elaine Thompson Hira's press release done by her team. But me, I wonder if Laton Ley things say T from TXT track time no know how them events ya transpire. Well, guess what, track is? In case uno forget, I'm going to remind you all of the order of events. So first, TVJ breaks the story. Elaine Thompson here has split with Coach Osborne. TVJ first released it. Surprise, surprise, or maybe not because I'm not. Then follow that up by Oral Tracy releasing his video breaking down what exactly transpired. And y'all remember I went in on Oral Tracy in that video because I'm like, listen, I'm tired of these people disseminating wrong information. I'm tired of these people trying to paint a negative narrative when it comes to Elaine Thompson Hero. But anyway, track is so he said in his video that one, Elaine Thompson Hero signed off on this 15%, and two, that the sum that was requested was the going rate for a coach of her caliber, and of course, track is the class athlete that Elaine Thompson is, which we've now come to find out that is not true because one, based on the contract that Elaine Thompson here has, they could not give her 15% because it would divulge the amount of her contract, which would breach the contract. And two, track is the sum where she did request did enough. It did whole heap. 100 million. I'm sure you see that figure floating around. So yes, track is that was the information disseminated by Oral Tracy. And as a result, track is Elaine Thompson Hero's team was forced to react to that, video done by Oral Tracy and clear things up and say, no, this is not what happened, right? An exorbitant sum was requested, which brought down the negotiations. And as such, we have parted ways and we are still, though, thankful for her services. Now, track is, wanna tell me, what's wrong with that? What is wrong with Elaine Thompson here coming out and clearing up the story and telling the truth and saying this is what happened? So wait, they're actually being blamed for telling the truth? Is that really what, Laton Ley is over here telling us on Sportsmax that we should blame Elaine Thompson Hero's team for telling the truth after Oral Tracy's told a lie on them? Okay. Okay, so this is what's happening. All right, he has so much consideration for, Shaniki Osborne, but none apparently for Elaine Thompson Hero. Why am I not surprised? I'm definitely not surprised. So, track is, let's get into that interview done by Laton Ley because, oh, when I tell you, he certainly put his foot in his mouth. And I bet he didn't realize. But anyway, I certainly did. You know why? Because I'm T from TXT Track Time. You better remember the name. All right, so now track is in the interview done with Darren Hira and Sportsmax. He outlined that it seemed as though, which I did even point out in my video, because you can't just randomly come up with a $100 million figure if you're not trying to figure out what 15% is of some other figure, right? But anyway, he pointed out in the interview that it seems as though they were trying to figure out what Elaine Thompson Hero's contract was, and as such, that is how he believes they came up with that 100 million, but they were way off, right? Track is, so that is what Darren Harris said in the interview. Now we had Laton Ley saying that Shaniki Osborne confirmed that herself and the person that she had representing her at the time were trying to figure out what Elaine Thompson Hero's contract was, and as such they made a calculation thinking that it was XYZ, and that 100 million or over 100 million was a result of what they estimated her contract to be.
Because what she said to me was that he was going to approach the Hera camp with what he estimates Elaine's contract to be valued at. Based on numbers that have come out now, those estimations were way off base, which then now made that equation completely unsolvable.
So, track is, Laton Ley is over here confirming that in the interview, when he was conducting the interview, Shaniki Osborne told him that they were trying to figure out what Elaine Thompson Hero's contract was. So wait there. Now that same interview there, when him write on Sportsmax and say that Shaniki said she was not interested in knowing the figure of Elaine Thompson Hero's contract. So wait there. You're trying to tell me that Laton Ley knew that Shaniki Osborne was trying to figure out the value of Elaine Thompson Hero's contract, and that is how she came to that $100 million figure or over $100 million figure. But at the same time, he wrote an article saying that she wasn't trying to figure it out. Oh, and the plot thickens. Is that another lie? Or are we calling that reacting? Oh, I'm sorry, that's a reaction. Apologies. So, track is with this additional reaction, I find it so interesting, track is because apparently everything, according to them or according to how Laton is spinning it, seems to fall squarely in Darren Hera's lap, and of course, by extension, Elaine Thompson Hera. So apparently, it's Darren Hera's fault also because he claims that, Shaniki Osborne and her agent seem to lack experience in, conducting these type of negotiations. So I guess that's also Darren Hera's fault, right? Even after he went above and beyond, trying to explain to her that she cannot get 15% of the contract and why she can't get that 15%, plus also explaining that that 100 million was exorbitant, she still doubled down. Oh, but that's still Darren Hera's fault, right? Or is it also Darren Hera's fault that she contacted Elaine Thompson Hera in the wee hours of the morning, trackies, and kicked her to the curb? Yeah, she severed ties with Elaine Thompson Hera in the middle of the night. Now, trackies, you know, so we're Jamaican and people only call people them the hours there. Well, not call she, and a call she call her, text her, but still, people only reach out to people at those hours when something is wrong. So, with that said, trackies, as far as I'm concerned, it's just excuse upon excuse and no accountability taken for literally tarnishing Elaine Thompson Hera's reputation yet again in the public sphere. There was absolutely no accountability made on either of them part. Not Oral Tracy and of course not Laton Ley. So my question to you is, trackies, if somebody could only reach out to me and tell me say the figure exorbitant. Them never tell me the figure, but them tell me say the figure exorbitant. Right? You try tell me say Laton Ley never know. You try tell me say Oral Tracy never know. Oh, okay. Well, I saw me big then. I saw T big T large in the streets. TXT track time. That's why I tell y'all, trackies, that you all have to use discernment. I use that word over and over and over and over again, but y'all don't listen. Listen, I laid everything out for y'all, and you still in the comment section saying, oh, it's a big fat lie. Well, now that Ricardo Chambers has confirmed the information to be true with the receipts, what do y'all have to say? Are we going to say, oh, it was fine for Shaniki Osborne to react? Because that's what we're calling lying now, reacting, right? We're calling lying, reacting, saying she wasn't requesting an exorbitant sum when she knew she was requesting an exorbitant sum, saying she wasn't, interested in knowing the amount of Elaine Thompson Hera's contract when she was going around trying to figure out per Laton, what could be her contract. And here we have her doubling down and saying, oh, I didn't do those things. I was just, going for my worth. So, Chuck, is I want to know, since we're now calling lies a reaction, right? Is it finally time for y'all to let go Elaine Thompson here telling that lie in 2021, which she was forced to do because her contract that she was about to sign was in jeopardy? Right? That lie that you all keep holding on to the end of the earth, that particular lie, are you finally going to let it go? Because that was a reaction, because information was released to the public that should not have been released, trackies, that could have destroyed everything that Elaine Thompson Hera was trying to achieve at the time. I wonder who released that story. Are y'all going to tell me? Is it the random person on the side of the street that found out that Elaine was signing a contract with Puma? Interesting, trackies. Anyway, y'all sound off in the comment section below now and let me know your thoughts. I hope this is the end of the situation, because I swear to God, if I hear another part of the story, I'm probably just going to lose my mind. If the receipts are receipting as per Recorder Chambers, right, and everybody else that saw those receipts, this is the end of the story. Let Elaine and her team be. Now, without further ado, like the video, of course, and subscribe. I will catch you in a next one.